One of the questions that church members often ask me is whether the whole idea of limited atonement, is it biblical? Well, the language is part of our stumbling block because it seems to suggest that there's some kind of limit in the value of the atonement. The question isn't a question of value. Of course, Christ's atonement is of unlimited value. The question really is, for whom did Christ intend to die? Did Christ intend to die for all men indiscriminately, or did Christ intend to die for a particular people? And one of the things that as Presbyterians we believe is that Christ died for a particular people. He died for the elect, whom God sees through space and time as his church. And so Acts 20:28 speaks in terms of God dying for the church, giving himself for his church. And so the intent of what Christ did at the cross was to die specifically for his people, for the elect. Another piece in the whole question, though, isn't simply a question of intention. It's also a question of whether Christ's death actually accomplishes something. Part of the problem with unlimited or general atonement is if you really believe that Jesus' death accomplishes something, and you believe that it is intended for all people indiscriminately, then logically you should be led to universalism. That all men will in fact be saved. That's actually a more consistent position than the position that many evangelicals hold, which is that Christ died for all men indiscriminately, but his death doesn't actually accomplish their salvation. That's a position that actually dishonors Christ's death because it holds that Jesus' death doesn't actually secure salvation. But we would say, I think, as Presbyterians, as those who hold the Reformed faith, that Christ's death actually is our only hope of salvation. It actually accomplishes the purpose for which Christ intended it, which was to save his people. And so necessarily then, if Christ's death accomplishes something, it accomplishes its purpose for which he intends it. He intends to save his chosen ones. And that's why it's a particular redemption or a definite atonement. And that's why we believe then it's biblical.